Hey, Workshop of Death guys. I figured I'd show off my current project, or at least one of them. This is a mini bike I'm working on. It's almost there. It's got some problems. The throttle is completely messed up. I gotta adjust just the throttle body. No big deal, just a pain in the butt. I've been playing with it a million different times and still not there. But I figured I'd also show off a small selection of my weaponry. So we'll cut over to that area. So this is a cross-section of the weaponry I own. We got a nice bayonet. This is from the Korean War. I think it's an M6. Or, well, Korean War era, at least. I want to say it's an M6. I can't remember for sure, but I know the era of it, so that's easy enough to look up. Simple knife. Personally, I really love this thing. It's a turkey carver. That blade is so unique to me that I just really love it. I mean, this thing is extremely inexpensive, and I actually got this on a demolition site with my dad. There's a house he was taking down, and this was in the house, so I've kept this for a number of years now. I actually keep a lot of my stuff for a number of years. I don't like to get rid of it. This is a hatchet. I just actually recently put the handle on it. If you can't, I don't know if you can tell, but this thing's pretty pitted. When I got it, it had probably a good 1/4 inch of rust on it. That's what my foundry over there, or my forge, came in handy with that. Yeah, that's not a forge. That's what I've got for a forge right now. Yeah, not a forge at all. But, well, that'll hopefully be changing in the near future. I always enjoyed this knife. It's a work type knife they use for cutting paper. I just really enjoy the thing. It's not an expensive knife by any chance, or by any stretch of the imagination, but it's just really enjoyable. I'm fascinated with knives and such. And I actually picked this one up from the auction. It's made in Sheffield, England, apparently. Yeah, you can kind of see that right there. Made in Sheffield, England. This thing is pretty rusty. I picked up it and this one for $1. They were both pretty rusty. I mean, they were in pretty bad shape. This one actually had a little bit of fire damage on the end of it. But I was like, heck, put it on the wheel, and it's that's a nice machete now. I mean, that thing can be used. Very well might be. Fencing sword, because everyone's got to have a fencing sword. And this one is the first sword I bought. I bought this thing, must have been 12 years ago now. I mean, it's been around for a minute. I mean, I was still in high school when I bought this thing. And, I mean, you couldn't use this thing really, but I always enjoyed it, I like my toys, as it were. And, this is something I was working on. I'll probably get back to it at some point, but that thing doesn't do the job at all. I mean, it just doesn't. I've got a big grinding stone. I actually got one sitting there. I've got more under the bench. Yeah, I've got, oh, you can't even see that anyway. I've got a bunch of different stones and stuff I can put on it, different categories to, really dig into it and what, but it just don't work. So hopefully, by spring at least, I'll have together some good supplies to make my own forge. I'm still considering, exactly how I'm going to do it, but well, that's how I actually ran across your channel. You have two different videos on forges. One that's a free forge, didn't cost you anything, and the other one's like an almost free forge. And they're nice forges as far as that's concerned. Hopefully, once I, find some decent supplies around, I'll be able to make my own forge. If you can't tell, I'm interested in the knife. I'm not actually interested. I'm not interested in the bottle opener because, well, I don't really drink beer, but I'm kind of a hard alcohol person, so I figured I'd take a swig. Yeah, that was a little much, but I just want to say thank you. I'm new to the channel. I'm wanting to get into forging, and was also curious if you had any videos for beginners on the actual process of forging. I've noticed that it doesn't seem like you guys actually quench the blades, and so I was kind of curious as to how necessary quenching a blade actually is, and just the whole process. So yeah, if you don't have a video on it, that'd be awesome to see, and if you do, I'd love to get a link. So I'll see you, and hopefully I can add the blade to my collection.